with your guided reading.
To actually give them like a teaching point that is beneficial to them that they can take back after being with me to work on, and not just a time where I just like read with them, feel rushed, and then okay, good job, like go back. Like I just feel I need to have like a better strategy with my whole flow of my reading groups and to get like a better teaching point.
I think I would want, like, for me, I think mine, I'm kind of like related to that. I'm thinking like accountability for like the kids to actually, that they're actually trying what we're teaching them. Like, or maybe a way that I can hold them more accountable, or like an easier way to keep track of, are they actually pointing to the words when they're by themselves, like I've said to them, or are they actually using the picture if that's what we worked on? Because that's a big thing for me, is like I'm not always sure if they're actually doing it. Because sometimes when they come back, they're not doing what we just talked about. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I make it more meaningful?
Or like stick.
So that that'll stick. Yeah. And they'll keep doing it. Yeah, make it a habit.
Okay. Ooh, and making those habits. Okay,
That's
for
right.
that. Jen, are there any other things other than, within reading groups? Because you mentioned some things that you could also do, not just within guided reading for your kids, with making them habits, making sure they're actually doing what you're teaching them. Would that even be a little bit part of what you feel like you're teaching them in some of your mini lessons?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I kind of want like the partner time to be a little more.
I was gonna say
like
effective.
Meaningful for them. Yeah, like
I feel
more
like that's
partner
the part.
talk. Even like I keep, we've talked about it a few times. I gave them that partner menu. And like that day, I had several kids that were like using it, coming up to me like, what does this one say? What does that say? So I know that they were using it. But since that day, some things, like if I don't stay right on it, I know they've kind of fallen. And maybe I just need to be more on it. But yeah, like having them actually talk about their books a little bit more would be good. I think that would be better for them too, because I think they always feel like they are only supposed to read. And like...
But like the conversations are okay,
right?
As long as you're like talking about the book or making a connection,
Okay. So that for sure.
But thinking around some of your areas of focus and some of the things you're seeing with your students, and that you're kind of hoping for them. What do you feel like our ultimate goal should be for kind of our cycle work?
Well, I guess. Well, I don't know. If related to like what we're talking about, I think we're thinking of like independence and like
being able to solve words without a one-on-one assistance all the time.
Students being able to work and read and progress independently. Which sounds like.
So, thinking of that, kind of what you were just saying, that being able to progress independently, progressing in their reading level.
Yes.
Okay, because that could kind of...
Because we want them to use what we're teaching them. We want to be able to see that they're using the teaching point or a strategy that we've taught them. And if they're using that strategy and stuff that we taught them, then that should be, if they're doing that as we've taught them, then they should be progressing through a reading level.
And you said something that sounded like it would be a really good target for kind of something that some of the things that you named, like at the small group and a couple of the other partner stuff that we can do to help meet some of that with that target. What was it that you had said? I forgot it now.
It was really good.
There was that.
Making connections.
Well, I think you did say something about like making those strategies a habit.
Going back to what you were talking about with guided reading, you were wanting them to be able to be more accountable of what you're teaching them and making those things like that they're actually doing them. So how can we word that in kind of a target for what we want our students to do?
I just think of like the word that comes to mind is like effective.
Okay.
Effective.
Say more.
Like I can create or...
Are you saying like give the kids effective strategies to use independently? That sounds weird.
Oh no, wait, go back to that. What about I can use strategies effectively?
Sharing. We're getting good about sharing and writing. I'm not nearly as good about sharing and reading. Maybe better about that.
So I have a question for you. Do you think that could be something too that we add in here as like a target? We may or may not get to some of the things that we would want to do with it, but if you're wanting to try to get them to not only have that partner conversation time to talk about books, but even during share time.
And maybe that would help them be more independent if they're seeing other kids doing it, and if they want.
Sometimes I feel like when I say like to them like, oh, and when we're done, we're all gonna come back and talk about a connection we made. Like I feel like they know that that's coming, so like it kind of reminds them even more. I don't know, like makes them accountable.
No, I
like
that
that.
makes sense. I like that one too.
So I can share more about books.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a?
Mm-hmm.